my name is Souls Convoy, and today I'm taking a look at Iron Factory's Hellbat, which by their designation is IF EX-67 Scythe of Bifrons. Hellbat is a member of the Breast Force, a Decepticon team from the animated series Victory that combines into Liokaiser. Starting off with a figure, I'm not taking a look at the box just because he's, I don't really keep Iron Factory boxes. But just taking a look at the figure, I love this blue, right? I absolutely love the blue. The yellow is painted really well and contrasts perfectly. The white plastic looks fantastic, and the silver accents on the chest plate are great. The yellow paint is truly impressive. I love how the yellow paint looks. People usually mess up yellow paint. It's perfect here. And the blue plastic base is just great. I'm trying to zoom in on the head sculpt for you guys. And the head sculpt is, yeah, I mean, I don't know. Some people don't like the shaping of it or think it should look more like the IDW incarnation. But I love how this looks. I love how this looks. The mohawk crest, the bat fin ears, I mean, the shaping of the mouth plate, the shaping of the face in general. The paint they use for the faux eyes on his helmet and for his actual eyes, which is a bit hard to see, but it just all like works really well, you know. It looks great. I'm trying to get those eyes on camera for you, but trust me, they look fantastic in person. Beautiful, beautiful. Proportionally, he looks great. His silhouette is strong and intimidating, and it isn't compromised at all whatsoever. I mean, those later, I mean, you can argue show accuracy, whatever, but this just looks like a cool robot, regardless of if you know the source material or not. And I am here for it. Aesthetically, visually, this guy's one of my favorites. And even turning him around, you expect a lot of back kibble, but it's really not all that bad. I like how you can angle the wings backwards if you so choose. I did, to give his arms more room to breathe. And it turns out great. Getting to the articulation, which he's loaded with, by the way. For the head sculpt, you can get the head up to here just by using the ball joint it's on. If you want even more, there's a hinge, but you really don't need it at that point. I think this is adequate. So you can really get those flying poses pretty easily out of this guy. For the shoulders, this piece hinges out of the way. A lot of people didn't do this in their early picks of this guy. I was kind of surprised why not. Easy 90. You can kind of pull that down as well if you want to break the sculpt less. I think if you mess with this combined transformation joint, I mean, I don't know, it's going to push the ball joint off. That's one issue I have, is that, you know, if you try to get too sweet with this thing to try to get more above 90, you can end up popping it off the ball joint, so be in mind of that. Bicep swivel, 360, double jointed elbow, and the shoulder itself is unrestricted forward and back because you can just maneuver around the wings. So yeah, universal ball joint shoulders. Wrists are on a ball joint which functions as a swivel. He has 3 pairs of hands, which I'll go over in a second. So unfortunate hollow gap here. I wish there was like a plate that covered this, but it's fine. It's whatever. I can live with it at this scale. For the waist, you have a waist swivel that's unrestricted. Awesome. I think it gets 360. That's awesome. You also have a, okay, it's a bit tight because it is a ratcheted ab crunch that can get you 90 degrees because it is a combiner joint elbow, spoilers, which is awesome. And you combine that with a 90-degree kick and you can basically do knee to chest, which is, he does have a 90 degree, actually the chest plate is blocking the rest of the kick. Let me put some of that. The back plate also hinges out of the way, so you can get almost 90 back, and you can get basically 90 forward. Considering the extremity of the ab crunch, a little bit under 90 is no big issue in the grand scheme of things. You have thigh swivels. You can also get 90 out, which I forgot to mention. You also have double jointed knees. They're clashing into the skirt right now. Let me hinge the ab crunch a little bit to get the full run. So yeah, the knees basically get the full run. They clash with calves, so that's as much as is physically possible. And then for the ankles are on a ball joint, so you can see the stock of the ball joint there, and this is the ball joint here, and you know, this is them. They get about that much, so I would say that's a pretty adequate. Definitely gonna get you a really good A stance and more. They're also on a hinge. Unfortunately, they clash with this part right here. They're on a hinge as well, so the entire foot assembly can move forward, which is great. And then aside from the foot assembly itself, the toe is hinged, so it can get you that much down, and it can get you all the way up due to transformation. So the articulation on this guy is fantastic. Accessories, since this guy is a breastmaster, I figure we get the most important thing out of the way first, which is his I forgot, is that shit. I think they're also called breastmasters. I'm stupid. I mean, his breastmaster, you know, headmasters also have headmasters, etc. Anyways, this is oops. So this guy is his breastmaster to bat. Out of the animal partners for the breast force so far, this guy might kind of be one of the worst. It's really hard to stand him up because you kind of have to lean him forward because of the tail and the legs, etc. But he does look really cute. I can perch him on his arm if I balance it and pray it doesn't fall over. He transforms into chest plate. You just need to pull this peg out. It's not really a great. This is also the gun mode, by the way. Like I don't know, like I didn't actually look at the instructions, but I guess you can do that so that the gun becomes more relevant. But in the same exact form, you know, he's both a gun and a chest plate, and you just peg it in here. Definitely very busy, not as clean as the parts forming chest plate, but you know, I can appreciate Iron Factory for this. I think they understood that there would be some people that would not really enjoy these. If this was the only option, they would think it looks clunky, but that's all you can do with this scale. This is also supposed to turn into a gun, which is just literally just that's the gun, and you plug it in with the same handle. This is the parts forming gun, which can go in his hand. I wouldn't really say it's parts forming gun, it's just a non-transforming gun, and that'll go in his hand just fine. And as you can see, it looks a lot cleaner than the transforming one, which the non-transforming chest plate is also a lot cleaner. So shout out to Iron Factory for, you know, thinking ahead with this set and understanding that, giving people the options between real transformations. I guess some people are particular about this type of stuff, and non-transforming alternative accessories, so that everyone is happy, hopefully. His main accessory, of course, aside from his breastmaster, is his scythe. He comes with a spear like all of the Iron Factory guys, or staff really, that you can attach things to. He also has spear tips, which I have misplaced, but I will find later. With my other Iron Factory guys spear tips, they all come with 2 of each. And he can hold it just fine. The problem is that the grip is not the greatest, so it'll slide up and down really easily. I assume they did this so that you have a looser grip, so that you can two-hand it more easily, is what I found, is because you can kind of get a lot of there's some play right inside the grip itself, so it doesn't really feel that restrictive. Unfortunately, the downside to that is that, you know, it might slip back and forth. The plus side that I'll demonstrate with Liokaiser is that two-handed poses are really easy, and you can do an Obari pose for sure. So it's a good trade-off. I mean, some people won't like it just because it doesn't feel very secure, but I'm fine with it. Also, alternate hands. I've already displayed him with the fist hand and a holding hand. Those are those. He also has a pair of relaxed / grasping hands and a pair of flat hands. So always generous with the accessories and the alternate hands. Line wide thing Iron Factory's been doing recently that I really appreciate for the last few years, actually. Especially when a lot of other Legends companies are very stingy with alternate hands and accessories in general. I'm going to put the chest plate back on, and before I do size comparisons, I'm going to put him next to some topically relevant figures like one I just showed, Liokaiser, Kill Bison. Oh, you're not going to be able to see his face. Oopsies. Kill Bison. Jalgor. And Drillhorn. And honestly, I think they look great together. This set is, I think, it's a weird 3P combiner set. I'm going to talk about the thing as a whole when I combine it. I have all 6 members. I'll probably do a video on the whole thing and talk about how I feel about it. I know some people are not a big fan of the parts forming, but honestly, the reason I haven't touched the combiner parts in my individual reviews, and I won't, is because I'm treating these as individual, fully fledged Iron Factory releases. It doesn't really matter if they can combine in these videos. Because of the price point, you know, for most of these guys are $35. Hellbat's 40. I think the jump is to compensate for the amount of combiner parts you're getting. They feel like fully fledged Iron Factory releases, honestly, and the whole set has pretty much been bangers. I mean, there's some issues with the first two, but they look great together. Size comparisons with other toys for the sake of, you know, actual size comparisons in a sec. Let me get these guys out of the way. I don't know. I mean, I really do like how the 5 of them look together. Here he is next to a Hasbro Deluxe. Here he is next to New Age's Depth Charge. Here he is next to a Hasbro Core. And here he is next to a Legion class figure from the old Cyberverse line. So, yeah, somewhere between Core and Small Deluxe, I would say. Pretty good size. I will get him transformed and then I'll be back. Oh, some quick size comparisons for Iron Factory's Hellbat in vehicle mode, Legion class, Core, and then here he is next to a Deluxe. Let me angle the camera upwards. And here he is next to New Age's Depth Charge. So, you know, not a bad size. Again, very much Legends class. Plain. I did not transform the entirety of the breast force because I am a fraud and I also don't have that much time today. So this guy has a pretty good jet mode. It's very classical Transformers jet mode, which is like a plane on top and then folded up robot underneath. So mediocre, but it's okay. It's a Dassault Rafale, I think, or meant to be one at least. Delta Wing, single vertical stabilizer fighter, pretty rare. Fighter jet design. They don't really show up that often in Transformers, so he does look really cool. Underside is pretty whack. One issue, the back landing gear can't retract. You have to pull them out for transformation to make room for the legs to slide down, and you just cannot pull them back up. He does have a front landing gear that retracts fine, and you can sit him down like that. The Breastmaster port, you can still attach his, you know, if you despise parts forming, there's no issue with keeping that guy attached or keeping the static one attached, or you could even it's a little bit tight fit. You can give him some additional firepower. This is also technically a 3mm port, and it works pretty well. You can bring in a don't make fun of my goofy Assault Kingdom stand. Those of you know what Assault Kingdom is, you're pretty based, but yeah, he can go in a 3mm peg stand just fine. So yeah, the jet mode does look pretty cool. The transformation to get there is but easy. There's a fiddly bits, like always, with Iron Factory. Some weird tolerance stuff, but the transformation to get there is super easy. The jet mode looks nice. I don't know, this guy, final thoughts, we're starting them now. He impresses me because I know this combiner set is super parts formery, but I'll go over it later. This guy is actually almost a fully fledged integrated combiner. Like, the hand is obviously a parts forming piece, but most combiners parts form the combiner hand, but all the engineering is there for this to be a perfect arm for a for a Liokaiser. I mean, like it has all the engineering it needs, and it looks good doing it in all three modes. And I don't know, I mean, like I got Liozak before, and I thought like he was almost as good as Jalgor, and this guy is Liozak, better proportion in my opinion, more posable because of the wings and because of the insane ab crunch on this guy. And I don't know. It just feels like Liozak but better, but it also happens to actually like do something for combined modes, which means it should be compromised, but it isn't. Liozak just folds up into a cube, but this guy like straight up is an arm. And I don't know, I'm pretty impressed. A lot of people rag on Iron Factory for poor engineering, but I think this is pretty solid. I mean, yeah, obviously like there's visible underside kibble, but even the more accomplished third-party Legends companies can make a jet former with no underside kibble. Nobody can. Not even the masterpieces are immune to it. So it's pretty good. Tolerances are fantastic. Paint is fantastic. Plastic feels great. Accessories are awesome, like always. The price point is fine. At $35, I thought these guys were a bargain because they're bangers for $30 a pop. $5 for combiner parts is not a big ask at all. This one's asking, I don't know, $5 for combiner parts and $5 for combiner engineering in the toy. Yeah, it's a perfect price. I have no issue with paying $40 for this. Great toy, honestly. Like, I don't know how else to tell you that. I mean, it just looks really good. It feels really good. It poses really good, and it comes in at a pretty affordable price tag. Would I have loved it if it was also $35? Absolutely. Should it have been? Probably. Do I mind the increase? Not really. Hellbat or Skyhawk being 45 is a bit whack, but considering the whole price of the combiner set and what it does, it's fine. Yeah, it's a full recommend for me, especially if you're into the set. Like, don't stop now because it's only getting better. Kill Bison was kind of dog ass in some ways. It's a good toy overall with a few mind-boggling issues, and Drillhorn was okay. I really like Drillhorn. He had some QC problems that were really easily fixable, but until you fix them, they were a pain in the ass. But the set has only gotten better, you know. Jalguar was a standout. Liozak was really good. This guy is Liozak, but better, in my opinion. So if you're like curious about this set, I would go for it. I think it's the best 3P Legends combiner by a country mile because of the fact that it actually looks good. Don't kill me. I just... but yeah, I mean, it is very, very impressive. And this one is no exception. I'm pretty excited for 2025 Iron Factory because they ended 2024 with some really good toys. And this guy's their first release of 2025, and he's a banger. So yeah, sorry for the lack of uploads. I was recently impacted by some of the wildfires in Southern California. Thankfully, me and my family are safe. A lot of people aren't. If you know people in Southern California, please reach out to them and ask them how they're doing. It's been a rough couple of weeks for everybody. I also sprained my finger, so that kind of precluded toy reviewing until it felt good enough to go. But I'll try to get back into a more consistent upload schedule. He says he always says that, and then he never does. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. Have a great day. I'll catch y'all later. Souls Convoy. Peace out.